Good morning, and welcome back to the channel. It is Saturday, October 9th at about 8:40 a.m. and I wanted to go over the current Bitcoin and altcoin situation and positions. As you probably remember, the other day I had a long position. I set the target just below this heavy resistance zone, which I've called it, and I got my profits there for this swing trade at about 6.9% profit. If you took this trade, you'd be in great shape if you took it then and took your profits at the same time. If you did not take your profits at that time and you're still in the trade, you're currently sitting at about 15% profits. So if you remember, I did say if it happens to break above this heavy resistance zone, which, just as a quick reminder, where is it coming from? Let me bring out the Fibonacci retracement from the all-time high to this low right here, and you can see the 0.618 Fibonacci level to 6.65 Fibonacci level comes in right there. That's why we had experienced resistance at that point in the past. It has blown through that, and as I said back then, if it does, I will flip very bullish on Bitcoin, and we'll be looking for all-time highs. But there'll be one more resistance area, and that is from about close to 56,000 up to this Fibonacci level 0.768, which is about 57,000. If it goes beyond about 57,500, I'd be looking for all-time highs in Bitcoin. Does that mean that I'm going to buy in now? No, because right now, as you can see, it appears like it's deciding what to do. It's at a very heavy resistance zone currently. It's just right at the edge of it, where there was huge volume of selling in the past, and it couldn't get through here when it tried the last time right at this level, as you can see from this cluster right here. And then of course then it broke hard to the downside. So right now I'm actually waiting to see what's going to happen. If I go down to the 4-hour chart, you can really see it's just right here bouncing around deciding what to do. Even though you've got this what was heavy resistance zone, which I'm actually going to change the color of now, because now it's actually a support zone. It has flipped because it's broken through it. It has flipped to support. Actually, I'll have to do it on a larger chart, but this is now support. So when it comes back down to this level, it's going to act as support. Let me get rid of this Fibonacci retracement. You'll notice I have some other boxes here highlighted, red and green. If you paid attention to the fear and greed index that I mentioned before, and let me go back to the daily chart. If you paid attention to that and bought when I said we were in extreme fear, which was the morning, 8 a.m. September 30th, which is right here at this area, right at this level. If you bought here, you would currently be sitting at about 28% profits on that trade. So if you invested 10,000, you currently made about $2,800 on that trade. And so what should you do now? Well, you could hold it. If you look at its history, I have highlighted every box that's green at the bottom here, 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 and here. These were all extreme fear areas. If you had bought Bitcoin every time it was an extreme fear, you would currently be very rich if you invested a lot of money. These red boxes are extreme greed. If you sold every time it was in extreme greed, again, you would be making a lot of money. Well, you can see these don't happen that often, you know, in comparison to how markets change. This extreme fear area was in April of 2020. The next one was in June of 2021. The next one we just had, and it ended on September 30th of 2021. Same with the extreme greed. Even though these shown 3 boxes, it's only because in these large dips right here, it actually came out of extreme greed, but then went right back into it. Same thing here. When it went strong to the downside, it came out of extreme greed, went right back into it when it went up. But really, I consider this kind of a greed zone. And we had a greed zone recently from August when the price shot up from the 30,000 range here, shot up to here. It was in extreme greed. And then you'll notice every single time it was an extreme greed, it came down. Every single time it was an extreme fear, when it left the extreme fear zone, the price shot up and you would make money. So far, every single time. Well, this week it did hit extreme greed, but only one day on October 6th. It then came back down to the greed, and that's where we are. I'm going to flip over to the fear and greed chart. You can see it right here. Hit extreme greed here, but then came down below 75, and now it's currently at 72, just in the greed zone, which is actually a good thing for the price of Bitcoin. For it to go up, there's a better chance of it going up, just like it did back here when it dipped out of extreme greed. It went back up. However, currently we don't know what it's going to do. So that's why I said, am I going to buy right now? No, I'm not. I'm going to wait and see what happens. Every time in the past, if you sold here at the extreme greed level, you can see it did come down a little into the greed zone. It did come back up, but again, flipping to the 4-hour chart, it's just bouncing around, consolidating, bouncing off this 20 period moving average. And if I flip to the 1-hour time, you can see for this entire period, it's really just bouncing around, deciding what to do. If it breaks to the downside and finds support here in this area and bounces back up, that is a very bullish sign. If it breaks through this and starts heading to the downside, obviously that would be extremely bearish. But we're kind of in a wait and see mode. The other coins, I won't go through them all, but they're all basically doing the same kind of thing. They had their break to the upside, and now they're just sort of consolidating. It's really a wait and see mode at this point. Whether or not I do a short position or a long position will really depend on what happens next. I will be watching. Hopefully you will be too. Hopefully you'll have great luck and best of trading. Have a great day.